Okay, folks, I'm going to call this regular meeting of the Little Calumet River Basin Development Commission to order for Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. Please set your phones on stun and let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Lambert, nice to see you. Recall roll, please. Here. Here. Here.
Ron Ware, absent. Robert Ochi.
Here.
Present.
William Baker.
Present. We have a quorum. Next up is statements to the board from the floor. If you'd like to help us make sure that that never happens again, please come over to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Going once. Going twice. Moving right along, next up is the approval of the minutes from June 18th, 2025. Motions, modifications, what say you, gentlemen?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we go ahead and accept the minutes as published.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Either none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're out there forever. Mrs. Lambert, we post all those minutes on the website. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely do.
Yes, we do. Chairman's reports next. Thank you all for coming out. Another full room. We're here to manage and maintain a $275 million man-made flood control project that if you do not do the maintenance, things on that board from September 2008 is what happens to the community. I hope I never, ever see something like that again. It's unfortunate that the things that happened in September of 2008 occurred to the point that got us to where we are today. However, we are dealing with Mother Nature. If we get 10 gallons of water for our 5-gallon bucket, we're going to have some issues. But we're far better prepared for those issues today than we were prior to September 2008. This is an economic development project, in my opinion, in so much as that by maintaining this federal flood control project, we take 4,000 properties out of having to pay mandatory flood insurance as part of their mortgages. However, if you live by the river, keep in mind, we're trying to manage Mother Nature, and that's not necessarily an easy thing. You should take all precautions necessary being close to the river because we do not know what's going to happen. That's enough for me. Next up is the finance report. We need to approve the claims from July 2025. We need a motion to start that conversation.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the claims for July 2025 in the revised amount of $752,608.14.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second, Mr. Repay for some discussion.
Good evening. We'll go over some of the larger items on the agenda or on the invoice. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Two of the largest are for the Sarman Woods Drainage Improvement Project, which is located just south of 231. That's the project that we committed money for almost 3 years ago now, for detention and better drainage throughout that entire area. One claim is for $223,948.40, which is for phase one, which was for the detention pond. That was the retainage left on the contract. The second one is the remainder of the work that was done in phase two, which was the infrastructure that went underneath 231 along with some trails. That's for $270,516. The total for the whole, our whole claim list is $782,608. That was almost $500,000, a good 2/3 of our claim list. On to some of the other smaller items. We have is HWC Engineering for $23,025 for Optimus Lake. And that is for the design of the boardwalk. We have our $29,500 for the CNH mowing, which is our second cycle. That was done shortly before 4th of July. And with quite honestly, the weather, I don't anticipate us cutting again till sometime in August. $16,006.73 for the US Stormwater Lift Station. That's the lift station located by the former bus terminal by Wicker Park, which we've taken over for maintenance purposes, and we're upgrading it, the trash rack, and a lot of the inlets and outfalls to actually get rid of two larger sluice gates in that area and make it more efficient for Wicker Park and the whole Indianapolis Boulevard area. Anything else? If you have any questions on, I'd be.
Any
Yeah.
questions for Mr. Repay and paying the bills? I got one. We're gonna do putting things on the cloud. Are these one-time fees or monthly fees?
We're gonna have some, I think we're gonna have some storage fees, but this one is the uploading. As you know, we scanned all the documents. Now we're gonna upload it to this system so that it's easier for the public to find if they need to.
We
for-
digitized all the historical records, so if something happens, they don't float away.
They've already been
Unintended.
scanned, yes.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mrs. Lambert, we have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Tom Gazdecky,
Yes.
Dave Castellanos.
Yes.
Robert Ochi,
Yes.
Levon Whitaker,
Yes.
William Baker.
Yes. Moving right along, next up is the executive director's report. Tie that in a project tracker, Mr. Repay, let us know what's happening out in the field.
Sure, we've got the housekeeping matters that we talked about. Our attorney Nicole here has put together a memo as far as the laws that have changed effective July 1st that impact us and how we meet. And she put that all together, and I appreciate it. Very helpful, especially when it regards to work study sessions. Now those will be recorded. We do already record all of our meetings. All of our meetings are put on the website. So all that has been occurring since 2020 anyways. This new law really has very little impact, but there are some matters, for instance, like the work study sessions now have to be recorded. We did record them in the past, but we record all of these meetings and they're all posted on our website.
These are for all public entities.
Yeah, every public entity, any public body, I believe that receives taxpayers' money. With respect to Sowerman Woods, I discussed it. The only closing part, and to tie it back to Project Tracker, is the dollar amounts that you just approved will be the last payments. We have capped ourselves out of that project, and they anticipate a ribbon cutting in August to complete that.
So we're done then with Sowerman Woods in the city of Crown Point at 2.6?
That's correct.
Thank you.
2.6 is our cap, is what you capped it at, so we have now reached that threshold. First Street Pump Station, I did send the attachments in the original monthly report, but what was finally concluded was some object must have cut the wires in the pump station, which was in the pump, which was causing the seal alarm to go off in the pump station. We've identified it. We put together the work order. They anticipate it to be, 8 weeks because of lead time for some of these parts.
For an electrical problem?
Yes,
I don't know, I'm not a good electrical person, and there's other folks here that have
there's a
that,
better person here,
but is it the slow boat supply chain? What? Isn't it just wiring?
I have no idea.
I don't know the
What is that?
exact, I don't know the exact part, but I can tell you that the manufacturer we asked for, because it's a flight pump, that's what they gave us as far as the time that it would get there.
I didn't read the report, but that could be the case in some situations with pump-related, rotating equipment-related parts. So 8 weeks, a little on the long side, but it's not unusual to have that as an issue.
I blame Putin.
Mr. Repay.
Yes,
I know Levon brought this up at the end of our last meeting. What What is the cause of this failure?
What they figured was it was an object that got into the pump that cut the wire. It's not under warranty, as it was asked at the last meeting. We don't know what object it was in that pump station. It's probably one of our busiest. We have a trash rack. We have 2 trash racks on it. So something must have got,
So a rock
Wound
can
up
get
in
in there and cut the wire? Like a rock can get in there and cut the wire?
I don't know what too many rocks that cut wires, but I mean,
I don't know too many things that cut wire.
Is that a picture there, Tom?
I don't know. It could be,
I mean, it seems like a seal or something that caused the ingress of some foreign object to come in and cut the wire, which is unusual.
we
That's
just
very
took up that entire pit to begin with, as a part of our overall maintenance.
And contained. How's that?
Yeah, how did that happen? Yeah,
Have they pulled the faulty entity, equipment, parts, whatever the proper term is? Have they pulled it out?
Yeah, the pump has been pulled, and then they
I know they pulled
disassembled.
that, but the actual piece that broke.
I don't know if there was an actual piece that broke, and all they could do is identify the wire that was
Are
cut.
they rebuilding the entire pump?
No, they're just fixing the wire and rewiring it so that the pump will work. The impellers are all in proper order, everything's fine, it's just, that's what was cut and that's what caused the issue.
I'd like to visit the shop.
Okay.
Next,
Anything else, gentlemen? For that one? No? All right.
next item is we held a meeting here at our offices for Hart Ditch Stabilization, which is the next segment. Which is just north of Brandlin Parkway. Approximately 1,200 feet. Austin Equipment is the lowest and most responsive bidder. They came here, they will be starting in late October, early November. As I mentioned in my report, the good news is the next segment, which will take us to the confluence with Schoon Ditch and Katy Marsh Ditch, will also be completed and likely permitted by that time. So maybe we could just keep going throughout the winter all the way to that confluence, which is where all the utilities and the NIPSCO lines go down and meet up before it gets to the Hill and Vale subdivision. So that was awarded by the commissioners. Just a brief note about our 2008 flood documentary. There's been over 40 interviews. We're still looking for information. We're still looking for individuals to provide us their historical background on what happened and what they did. What my understanding is, it's going to be divided into a 3-part segment: before the flood, during the flood, and then what has happened and transpired afterwards to make sure that things are working in a better light. So any questions on the flood documentary? If you want to be interviewed or talked to, you're more than welcome. I can give you the contact information. US Army Corps inspections. The ones for Gary have been completed and they are on our website. So if you're interested in viewing the Gary ones, those are complete. The ones regarding Highland, Hammond, and Munster, as you know, we have to do ourselves. My man Mike's here from Wessler. He's working. I know he's already done Highland as far as the gates, and I know they're scheduled. They had one scheduled for Hammond, but they had to move that around for weather purposes. And then Munster's the last one. And then, of course, we have Butler Fairman, who is doing our pump stations, and they haven't started those yet. But once those are done, we will issue the report to the Corps and for their I don't know if it's approval, but simply for their noted need for us and the national levy system.
Dan, I have a question.
Yeah.
So on our behalf, the levy inspection is done by Wessler.
The gates are being done by Wessler. The pump stations are being done with Butler Fairman, Seaford. And then the actual levies themselves are inspected by the communities. The communities are gonna walk and assess what they have as issues. Well, I'll be probably walking with them. Should be a treat.
So whom from each of the communities is gonna be documented for walking these levees and what they're saying and doing and what kind of paperwork? Is it gonna be the paperwork that is always filled out by the Corps? How is that gonna be confirmed? Seems
Yeah, so.
vague.
So the documentation will be the same. The people that will be walking it will be the same people that walk with the Corps and that have walked with the Corps for the last 15 years that I've been doing it. It's generally the same people,
From each community.
each community. So Mark Gordish from Hammond will generally go out there. Mike Pimpta will likely be Highlands and Jesse will be doing Munsters. But they've all done it. They've all have experience. As a matter of fact, during our O&M meeting this afternoon that we held here, the Corps sort of helped them along with looking for what they look for. But we all know what they look for because we've been on all these inspections over the years.
So we're running this year as if the Corps is not doing any more inspection work for us.
That's correct. Now, they said that they would send someone out to just check on us. But
In a
we're doing it on
helicopter?
our own.
Okay, thank you. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I would anticipate us doing our own inspections from here on forward, to be honest with you.
Really?
So moving on to
Why not?
good information here, the pending 408s. We'll start with somewhat good news. Bank stabilization. They believe the bank stabilization work is being done in a couple areas along the river. One by Forest Avenue in Hammond, one by the Northcott Bridge, and then mainly Grant Street between Grant and Chase Street in Gary. They believe they'll have that 408 approved to us by the end of this month. We'll see. Gate wells the same way. With the gate wells are the ones that we contracted with United to do to one of them is a confined space safety hazard, which is located by the gas station off of Videos Boulevard. And the other one is the one that we have to throw sandbags down the manhole, which is located by the visitors.
Are we getting a 408 for gate wells as a global statement or for each, 408 for each location?
For each location, we have to do it. Anytime you touch the levee, you have to get a 408. General rule. We have more 408s than probably any other entity in the Chicago district. As a matter of fact, I think I spoke to a group of people from the Corps about 5 years ago because of the amount of 408s that we do. Most time people don't change or modify their federal project.
They don't maintain it and that's what happens.
I'll go with that. Sandbar, which is ongoing issue, that's the sandbar located both east and west of Kennedy Avenue. We've had some back and forth. We've had some fun conversation. Matter of fact, I had one this past Friday. What we think we've come to, and it actually changed, so this update is sort of old from what I had a discussion with them this afternoon. They believe they can approve it quicker based on if we take all the material out. Their goal is not to have any material stay in, and certainly in anything that we cut, we don't add to it. I said, well, there's never a reason for us to add to it. We don't want to add to it because it reduces the effectiveness. I don't know if you want to see, I could show you the aerial. If you don't want to see the aerial, you can see it on Lake County.
I want to see the
I
air.
know you want to see it. I'll show you the aerial.
You've been practicing for this, right now, so I want to see the sandbar.
That's a matter of fact, I have been practicing all week, as a matter of fact, on trying to get this to work. The only bad thing is I moved the cursor. I moved the cursor from when we were in executive session. So let me share my screen with you, Mr. Baker. And I didn't bring my cheaters with me. Oh, help me. It's up there. Okay. See if we got it up here. So this is, if you just to get an idea, this is Kennedy Avenue. And this is current day, what it looks like from above the aerial. And then what I pointed out to them is let's get rid of 2005. That's what it looks like. That's what Kennedy Avenue looked like here. So this is still maintains to be Kennedy. That's what it was like before they finished the project. So this is yet to see the project. Now, if you go to 2008, you see the levees have been there, but you also see all this water that's around this area. And certainly you see no sediment building up going to the east.
This is cool.
And what I showed them during the meeting was that it makes more sense to approve us quicker, because if you take it and you take 2023, you start to see all this is filled in over time. All of this area underneath the pedestrian bridge east of Kennedy Avenue. And then as you keep on going, you can start to see it all develop. And I would say, actually, this area here is actually filled in even more since the 2023 aerial has been put in. So what we've come to the conclusion on, now that I have this up, this area that is considered the southwest corner, those of you that have been around for a while know that we tried to clean this area up once, and we were told to push all the material into this corner and do a mitigation on this. And we did it. Now, because of the Clean Water Act, we can't touch this. Even though this is in terrible shape, it's not ecologically worth much. So I promised them, look, we won't touch that, but we want to cut out this area from pedestrian bridge across through and then take out all this sediment. And they seem to be okay with that. And I said, well, give me a time frame. And they said still early on, they still think we can do it during the winter, which is probably the best time to do this stuff anyways. Because very similar to the Hart ditch stabilization, we're not subject to the rise and fall quickly of water, usually in the wintertime. We're gonna be working completely inside the channel. So there's my audio visual presentation to you. Yes.
What
Well,
about, what about the area? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The area you initially said that up towards the east, that it's there, right there.
Yeah.
We taking that out too?
Yes.
Okay.
So both sides of the bridge.
Correct. Initially, they wanted us to
Yay.
make it a 2-stage, 3-stage, and I said, it's just better to get it all out, because actually, and I will tell you, this area near the Public Works garage is a lot thicker and a lot deeper than that picture doesn't do it as much justice. If you guys have been there, I'm sure you would see it for yourself, but I know some of you guys drive over that bridge often, so.
So,
Anyways.
I have a question.
Yes.
Given the catastrophic storms that are inundating our country, if we have an event like we had in 08 and you have this blockage there, what happens?
Well, we're gonna have.
Where do we overtop and how fast does it overtop? And
The first place it would overtop would be Wicker Park. Because what would happen is it would back it up there, and then all the water would shoot back into Hart's Ditch.
what kind of decrease in flow do we get with this blockage? Is anybody, I mean, can our congressman help us with this? I mean, it's all his constituents that are here. All the people that, live in Lake County, Indiana, that are gonna be impacted because of their lack of any type of action.
They're on the call with us on every Friday. They initiated the calls starting about a month and a half ago.
Does he care?
They care, but as I explained to, Jodi's the only person in the office I get to talk to. To understand the 408 process, it's sort of like I'd give a document to all 6 of you. You'd all go in separate rooms. You'd all mark up your own thing, and then you'd bring it back to one person. And sometimes when let's just say Dave brings something back, well, that now impacts Bill's thing. It's a long, drawn out, slow process. It's not anything that can be done cheap, or it can be done quickly. And that's why we try to host these meetings before we actually issue the permit, or like formally put in for the permit, because it just helps the process go along smoother. And that's what we're trying to do through these meetings. And we have HWC now helping us with quantities. But to your question, We haven't measured what it would impact, but I would tell you if that became blocked, which is more, we pay for at least 3 or 4 times a year to unclog it. The first place it goes is Wicker Park.
'Cause we
Wicker Park
lowered
would
the
fill
levy there.
first. And then probably upstream of Hart's Ditch.
In this part of the community, of the water.
Yeah, because it wouldn't make it past here.
Right.
Our storage is really east of Klein Avenue.
Right.
We don't have storage really.
But that's
here.
why we've been talking about this for 6 years.
Yeah, the permit's been going on since 2023, yes.
3 years, 2.5 years. So maybe everybody sitting in the audience should call your congressman. Complain. Of course, residents of Gary probably helps them.
So moving along.
Tom, do you have a question or no? Or no?
No, you answer it.
We'll move on, the hydraulic analysis and drilling.
So finishing up the 408 anytime for 3 months to a year.
Yeah, I mean, after today's discussion with Colin, who is in charge of all the 408s for the Chicago district, he believes, and you may remember Joel Schmidt, who's the head hydrologist, now is the manager there. And you'll appreciate this. In the LCA, there's a document that says about cleaning and maintenance. They're trying to define what that is so that we don't have to keep doing this. The goal of this, and it hurts right now, but the goal of this is that when we're all gone, the next person sits here doesn't have to go through this pain to get these permits because we'll have defined what that is and what clearing is.
But the maintenance in my thing has always been that we should be in there making sure it looks more like it did, you know, as far as the flows as a part of the maintenance. Not mitigating wetlands inside 2 levees.
And in state statute, it does clarify what maintenance is, but in the federal guidelines, it doesn't, and that's where we're stuck. Unfortunately. Hydraulic analysis and drilling is going on. They're reviewing. We have all the things that the Corps has requested of us, including the independent geologist with 5 years experience. We have a landscape in case something's disturbed along the levee. So that one should go a lot quicker since we have agreed to everything that they've asked us to agree to. And they want this information as well. They meaning the Corps, and quite honestly, the city of Gary would like this information so they can make this a part of their Lomar application so that folks don't have to pay mandatory flood insurance, and that land that's, whether it's Gleason or Grant Street or wherever else you want to be, can be developed very similar to what Hammond, Highland, and Munster were able to do. So this is a part of the process. We tried different ways to do this. It's been going on a year of discussion and back and forth, but I mean, I don't want to totally be mad at the Corps. I mean, there's only one person that handles all 408 applications throughout the entire Chicago district, and that's, you're talking the Chicago Canal and the Lake Shore in Chicago. So he's got a lot of stuff, but this should go a lot smoother than certainly the sandbar does.
Maybe some of the 8 people that are doing the inspections can help him.
We don't have any more people to do inspections.
I looked
so
at the Gary report. There sure looked like 8 people from the Corps were on it.
there were quite a few. I think there was 12.
I think, Chris, thank you.
US 40 lift station, I already talked about that. We're meeting with Highland at the end of this month to make sure that what they have, what they can, what we're designing works for them, because ultimately they're gonna be doing the work and maintenance for us on our behalf. INDOT ditch clearing, we're in the process of applying for a permit. We will be working from the land side, not from the road side, because they don't want us there. That's dangerous. I get it. But we think we can still accomplish that from I-65 to roughly Grant Street this year. So we'll be clearing out the ditches, making sure the culverts are working, pulling out the fenders and all the construction cones that are there, and then trying to kill the Phragmites that are in the area. Now, it's the killing Phragmites, as you all know, it's a process, and that's what we're gonna have to, what we'll deal with, but INDOT is agreeable and wants us to help them.
Is the maintenance of the Phragmites and maintaining it in part of the permit we're submitting to INDOT? So it isn't every time we have to do something, we have to go through another level of bureaucracy.
We're applying for the permit to be able to do work in their easement or on their property. So I don't know, it's not a perpetual one, it'll be a case by case basis.
So every time it's determined by our environmental folks as far as the fragmity work that needs to be done, we gotta go back through the process?
Not necessarily, because once we clean out the culverts and the culverts are working, you can spray for fragmites using drones. You
Okay.
don't have to go out there, you don't have to use equipment. What we're applying for is because we're gonna have excavators and dump trucks and everything else on their property, by their fence, and that's
'Cause
something. that-
everything they own is Phragmites, and that's an invasive species, and it's hard to, for me at least, to digest on all the things that we're doing, that right next to it, which is NDOT, is a farm of Phragmites.
Understand, but NDOT's responsibility number one is to make sure people pass on
And we're
expressways.
trying to help them, that's the whole point.
Yeah,
So I mean, without having to do more paperwork and having to keep doing that, if there's a way that there's a maintenance program that can be reviewed every 18 months or 2 years, whatever, pick a time so we can keep moving forward on that.
I understand, and what I would tell you is, once we clear out the culverts, spraying is probably the least difficult thing and won't need a permit to do. You fly a drone.
I'll take that.
All right. Watershed studies have been going on. I've been able to participate in some of them. Not all of them, just because I don't necessarily want to be in a meeting when they're talking about us and funding and their requests and their problems, and maybe their problems with us. We'll certainly get a report on that. Structure Point's been doing a good job, sort of leading those meetings, and getting everyone. I was able to sit in Lake Counties. I sat in Highlands. I think I'm scheduled to sit in Porter Counties. And it's funny, Porter County is wondering why we're interested in them, and I had to explain to them, so now they're agreeable to being able to do that, so. That's going well, and they're still on schedule to have the report here later this year. And then we met with all interested parties for the Kennedy Avenue Bridge, Highland, Hammond, Lake County, certain DLZ, who is our engineer, to talk about any issues, problems, questions. Really, the only major issue was maintenance of traffic, which is making sure that you're not negatively impacting the businesses that are located, whether it be byway or, the visitor center or whatever. The major impacts are gonna be more, certainly I don't wanna impact Nicole's office either. Are they gonna be on the Hammond side and not necessarily on the Highland side? Highland has public works, so there's really not a problem. The issue is the off ramps off of NDOT's, the expressway, and then trying to make sure that everyone gets to where they need to get in a safe way.
Does NDOT need to be involved in those meetings?
We've notified them of the thing, but they're not a part of this is like more the bridge. We notified them on the closures, and that's what we've told them.
Just as a courtesy, maybe during the conversations that you're having with them, is to inform them about what's happening at Kennedy Avenue or proposed, to make sure they understand what's gonna happen with those ramps, because there, even though there's plenty of stacking, because each one of those ramps are 4 miles long, I'm being facetious. You could stack a lot of cars on them. They still should know what's happening as far as what we're doing with the river.
Yeah, there was an accident there earlier today. I showed you some of you guys pictures of it. They were stacking traffic over there, so no one was going southbound.
Did it back up the expressway?
No one could go southbound. There was a
Don't go southbound on Kennedy.
correct,
Okay.
south of the river. You weren't going anywhere.
So it blocked off the whole bridge?
Mhm.
Really? Did it stack up, just out of curiosity, onto the expressway?
I would guess it would, because it was a criminal pursuit by county police, and the driver hit our sluice gate station, which I didn't go out to check on.
I'd like to see a picture of that. Okay.
I have a picture.
No, I mean of the
Oh,
aerial, yeah, exactly.
Probably look at the travel cams that NDOT has. We can look back in history, but that's all I have for my report.
Thank you. All right, any questions for Mr. Repay about what's going on in the field? You better none, moving right along. Next up is any other issues, new business? We have none. Next date of the meeting. Mrs. Lambert helps me and says it's on the third Wednesday, which is August 20th, 25. check the website for location. I would assume it's gonna be here unless notified. Other than that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, everybody.